Today I'll be telling you about the worst day I've ever had in my fish keeping hobby. I was nominated by Tazawa Tanks to make this video, so make sure you go check him out after this video. But let's get straight into this video. So one of the worst, I'll tell you two stories that I've gone through. My storytelling is pretty bad, so please bear with me, please forgive me if my story sucks, but I'll try my best. So the first time was about 3 years ago when I had a 5-foot tank in my bedroom. It was a very large tank and I had one single parrotfish in there. Pretty weird to have such a big tank with one parrotfish. But yeah, that was like my pet fish. So I was doing a 50% water change late at night, and while I was filling the tank back up with water, I fell asleep. Probably one of the worst mistakes you can ever make in the hobby is to fall asleep or do something else and totally forget about the water change. And yes, that's what I did. So my mom woke up in the morning around 6 a.m. and she stepped on a wet floor. Entire house was covered in water. From the bedrooms to the living room to outside the house was all wet. And she woke me up. I quickly turned the tap off and put some dechlorinator into the tank because I didn't want my fish to die. My parrotfish was still somehow swimming around in the tank, which is pretty cool. And he did survive, which is nice. But yeah, so we had to clean the whole house, wipe the floors, suck all the water off, and yes, I had to go to school. And yeah, that's it. So I'm happy the fish survived. But it's a horrible thing to go through when you make a huge mess all over the floor. Yeah, so now I make sure not to do water changes at night because I don't want to go through that again, and I don't think you would also. So don't do water changes at night, or don't do water changes and fall asleep on the couch or whatever. Okay, and the next story is something similar. It's my 3-foot African cichlid tank. Yes, I did keep African cichlids before, and I really love that tank because it was so bright and colorful, and I had a bunch of Malawi cichlids as well as one frontosa, which I loved a lot. And the same thing, well, not the same thing, but the tank leaked, and it was the silicone on the side of the tank, like somewhere here or something. It just gave way and the tank started to leak. And my mom woke up in the morning again. She's the first to wake up. She stepped on a wet floor again, and she quickly came to my room, told me that my fish were all flopping around in the tank. There was no water in the tank, so I quickly grabbed the fish out one by one, put them in my 5-foot tank. Yeah, this was the same time I had that 5-foot tank, so I did that, and we had to clean the floors again. And I went to school after that, and when I came back home from school, I checked to see how the fish were doing, and they were all dead. So that was really sad for me because I really love those African cichlids a lot, and my mom liked them too because she loves those bright colors, and I was just really sad about that. But I think it was because they were just too stressed out, as well as the water parameters were different because the pH levels were not the same. I had crushed corals in that African cichlid tank, whereas in the 5-foot tank I didn't have any substrate. I just had some filter media in there. So I was pretty bummed out about that, but I hope you guys don't have to go through what I went through. If you guys have had any similar stories or your worst day you've ever had in the fish keeping hobby, make sure to comment them below. I'd love to read them all and respond back to you. Yeah, so if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Wait a second, before I go, I want to nominate 3 other fish channels to do the same thing that I just did, to tell of their worst day in the fish keeping hobby. So let me shake this cap and nominate 3 people. Okay, so number 1 on the list, we have Flynn's Fish Forum. Okay, number 2, we have Hypnotic Aquariums. Pretty new channel, just started a few days ago, but It's Jimmy H. He's been on YouTube for quite a while, so make sure you go check him out. And last but not least, number 3, we have the Aquatic Man. Alright, so make sure you go and check those channels out, say hi to them, give them a subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.